Hey guys, it's me, Alzagzzz, aka Angelica, here from my backyard to your safe and comfortable little bubble. Anyway, I know there's been a lot of drama around the beauty community, but let's get back to, just honestly having fun. Let's get back to just loving makeup for makeup. Because honestly, makeup is about creativity and expressing oneself, and I want to get back to that. Makeup as something positive. Of course, in regards to what happened with certain three individuals, like first of all, we should all just be respectful of each other. Talk it out with the people that whenever serious issues are, appearing, we should honestly be respectful, talk it out amongst, the people involved first, and again, just be a good human being in the first place. Anyway, so I wanted to share with you my eyeshadow collection. So, all my eyeshadows I'll be sharing with you guys, I bought with my own money. I didn't get them for free. I do have some that were gifts from friends, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so what's my newest palette? The newest addition to my eyeshadow collection, and that would be the Jaclyn X Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palette. I still have it in its box too, because look at that, it's so pretty. It's like so shiny. I don't know if you can tell, but there's like this rainbow holographic quality to it. It's very nice. Sorry. Anyway, so this is a cruelty-free but not 100% vegan eyeshadow palette. Oh, it's really nice. Love that. And then I also always try to keep the clear plastic to take care of my eyeshadow palettes. I have used this palette, and my favorite colors from it are actually Soleil, which is like a very, very, very beautiful highlight. So that's Soleil. I also really like Wiggly's. And then Sponsored is super cool. It's like a duochrome, blue to brown duochrome. But of course, like all the mattes are also very good on this palette. And I also have another palette that's also a new addition to my collection, and that is the Colourpop Create Your Own palette. So this one, it would be 24 with small palette, which has 12 eyeshadows, or 2 cheeks and 4 shadows, and then 45 with a large palette, that's 24 shadows, or 6 cheeks, or a combination. I have the one that is 24 shadows. And then, of course, these are cruelty-free. Colourpop is cruelty-free and vegan. Right now, I have the pressed glitter. For the top 3 rows is pressed glitter, which is self-adhering glitter. It's high shine, but not intended for immediate use in the eye area. Very little fallout, so no issue for me. But of course, safety first. I have used pressed glitters near my eyes, and so far I have not seen any issues with them, mainly because the glitters are very self-adhering. Once it dries, it's not going to go anywhere. But I do understand the concern, so don't worry. If you don't want to use this near your eyes, don't even worry about it. I also have the duochromes on the bottom layer. Duochromes typically have a metallic finish, and it appears as 2 colors depending on the angle, and gives this multi-dimensional feel to it. I actually saw that I had one more new palette in my collection, and it's the NYX Modern Dreamer. And this is honestly a really good palette if you are starting out. It already has all of your warm neutrals at the top, and then if you do want to make more colorful looks, there's 3 rows at the bottom. I got this one for $35, and this one's cruelty-free, not 100% vegan, mainly because of carmine. That's usually the main reason why palettes are not 100% vegan. Carmine is a red pigment that is from dried and crushed insects, typically the beetles. These are very pigmented, blendable, but again, it's a warm tone palette. And it doesn't come with a mirror. So for everyday looks, I honestly just put numbers on these two. So 1, 2, 3. I use 3, 4, 11, and 12 for an everyday look. Okay, so I typically use 3, 4, 11, and 12 for normal everyday looks. And then of course, they have really good glitters in this one as well. And then in terms of high pigmented colors, let me do some swatches for you guys as well. Typically though, I use concealer all over my eyes and I set it with translucent powder before I put eyeshadow. And all of these swatches again are just on bare skin. There's no primer, there's no any special primer put on my arms to do the swatches. Okay, so now some of my oldest palettes. When I first started actually buying palettes here in the US, I first started with the BH Cosmetics Carli Bybel palette, and this was super popular at the time. I don't remember exactly what year it came out. However, I remember going into multiple Ultas just trying to find one, and it would be sold out. So this one comes with a mirror. It comes with a mirror. Okay. And then there's 2 rows of eyeshadows and then 1 row of big pan highlighters. This one honestly is super good. Of course the mattes are no longer as pigmented as when I first bought them, but in terms of the shimmer shades, they're still very pigmented. Here's one of the highlighters, which it doesn't have a name. So this one is actually one of the pink shade highlighter shades, very high shine. It also has this champagne highlighting shade, also very high shine. And then of course it also has highlighters for the more deeper skin tones, in a light bronze and a deeper bronze color. And honestly, this is my oldest palette, but the shimmers still perform so well. Unfortunately, the mattes do not perform the same way. It's not as pigmented as it used to be. I wish I took photos and videos from when I first got it, but it used to be more pigmented than this. It used to be more deeper, but again, the older the palette gets, the more the formula begins to degrade, to change. So the colors of especially matte eyeshadows are not as vibrant anymore. And another one of my oldest palettes is actually the Tartlet in Bloom. So this one's a compact palette. I believe it retails for $39. It comes with a mirror, and then of course it smells like marshmallows. And this is a more warm tone, natural looking palette. Cruelty free, not 100% vegan, mainly again because of carmine. it still smells like vanilla or marshmallow. I think one of my cousins even said it smelled like hot chocolate or something, but I think there's more on the marshmallows. For this one though, because of how old it is, I would need like a wet eyeshadow base. So I'd put my concealer on, or I'd put like MAC paint pot onto my eyes and then put the eyeshadow immediately on top so that it's more pigmented, it has more longevity. However, without the eyeshadow base, the pigment doesn't last very long, and after a while it kind of just goes flat. But then again, this is a very old palette, so in my collection. So in terms of my most expensive palette, surprisingly enough, my most expensive palette is the Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette collection, or quote-unquote the vault. And as you can see, I have it in the box because I bought all 4 of them when it first launched. This one retailed for $52 and it's cruelty-free, vegan. I don't use this one very often in comparison to the rest of my palettes, but it is very pigmented, and they have cohesive color stories per palette. They also, I believe, recently changed some of Jaclyn Hill's formulas in some of their palettes. I'll make sure to link it down below for which one specifically have they changed the formulas for, because I know for sure I have all of her first releases, and so apparently Morphe changed the formulas, or they revamped the formula for some of Jaclyn Hill's palettes. So I'll let you guys know which ones those were. Another thing is that, again, each palette has a cohesive story, color story, I mean. Armed and Gorgeous is more of a warm tone color story. There's a lot of yellows, golds, some transition shades, and then a green for a pop of like contrast. Bling Boss is more of like this purple color story. So you'll see that there's like purple, some red, a little bit of this fuchsia, but kind of more on the red side, pink, periwinkle, and like this beautiful black slash purple, like black slash purple duochrome. Yes, it's duochrome because it's shifting in the light. We also have Dark Magic, which I believe is the more grungier one. Oh yes, it is. Which has more of your black, brown, deep greens. I believe this is more like lime green? No. Military green. I also have blue right here. There's this beautiful silver tone, and there's this beautiful taupe glitter, and then of course your highlighting color and a transition shade. And finally we have Ring the Alarm, which I believe is another warm tone palette, but focusing more on the reds and browns. So it has pinks, transition shades, some redder transition shades, more red, browns, orange, this beautiful rose gold slash leaning more towards red actually, and then this gold color right here. And every single palette in the vault comes with a mirror, and personally the mirror is okay. It's not that bad actually. There are palettes with larger mirrors than this, but I mean, if you are just doing your eye makeup and if you're on the go, this is not half bad. Again, I keep all the clear plastics because I just like keeping my palettes as clean as possible. I I like to take care of them. But again, so there's 4 palettes in this vault, quote unquote. So now we're moving into the most affordable category, and I have a bunch. So my first one is actually the NYX Ultimate Edit palette. I think I've already like featured this in a different video. Oh, the Foxy Eye makeup look. If you would like, go check it out. So I have the NYX Ultimate Edit palette in warm neutrals. As you can tell, most of my palette choices are warm or colorful. And then for this one, it's around $7. Warm neutrals, cruelty-free, not 100% vegan, mainly because of the carmine. I do use this every day. Like, this is one of my everyday palettes. Very pigmented, and it's a really good beginner palette if you just want to do like one look every single day. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so another one of my most affordable palettes is actually under Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild is cruelty-free. It's not 100% vegan, but they are getting there. It's honestly like my drugstore favorite in terms of like quality, but providing good quality at a cheap price. So I have the Coloricon eyeshadow 10 pan palette. I have them in Rosé in the Air, and I also have them in Nude Awakening. And if I remember correctly, these are $5, but drugstores do have sales. I got these for I think $2. I remember it was like some 1-digit number that was below $5. So I got this below $5, and I would really hope that if you do get one of these, get it when it's on sale. These ones are super good. I believe like for on the interweb, into internets, these palettes are considered dupes for other more high-end palettes. The Rosé in the Air, I believe, is a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. And let me see. I have both of them, so I'll give you a comparison in a little bit. These 10 pan eyeshadow palettes are pigmented. They're good beginner palettes. Variety at a really low price. The color story again is similar to high-end palettes. Not exact dupes though, since some colors not spot on and pigment isn't as long-lasting as the high-end counterpart. Unless you apply an eyeshadow base, that's usually what trick you would need to make a cheap eyeshadow last very long and appear very pigmented. It's as if you're balling on a budget. Oh, so again, let me do a comparison. So this one is Rosé in the Air. And then let me open up my Modern Renaissance. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. And then this one is your Wet n Wild palette. Of course, the Wet n Wild does not come with a mirror. The Anastasia does. The Anastasia comes with a brush, which I've taken out because I've used it. The Wet n Wild does not. So some color comparisons. Let me do some swatches for you guys. Tempera on Anastasia Beverly Hills, which I'm gonna put on the left side, by the way. And then, let's see, number two on the palette, on the Wet n Wild palette. So that's Tempera compared to number 2 from the path, comparing those colors. It's another good color to compare. Oh, Primavera. Primavera on the Anastasia, right here. And then number 3 from Wet n Wild. And so as you can see, Primavera is lighter and it's a little bit more high shine compared to number 3. Number 3 is more champagne, more like a natural highlight. While Primavera is more like if you want to highlight your eyelid, inner corner, or your brow bone. I mean, you could also use it as a highlight, don't get me wrong. I would use it as the way I described earlier. So that is the swatches comparing Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance on the left side, and then Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air on the right side. But yeah, so I mean, sometimes you want to be balling on a budget, and that is totally fine. That's totally okay. Feel free to, like, you know, because again, it's your money, your budget. You don't have to spend so much to get the colors that you want. And then just to list out like the other like dupes, my Glamour Squad from Wet n Wild is a comparison to Soft Glam. I do not have my Glamour Squad, so I can't really do a comparison. VI Purple is a comparison to the Norvina palette. I do not have the VI Purple, so I can't really do a fair comparison. Nude Awakening, which I do have, is actually a dupe for the Naked palettes, but I don't have the Naked palettes and they don't sell it anymore either. So can't really do a fair comparison for that. But yeah, there are definitely dupes in the drugstore if you feel like you don't have the budget for something more high-end or expensive, and that's completely okay. Because at the end of the day, like, makeup is just for you to have fun, you know? It's not, it's more to help you, not impress anybody else, but impress yourself. Okay, so for my everyday palette changes depending on like which time of the year it is, what color story I want to do. I mean, I typically do a very natural, warm tone look, but I do change which palettes I use, considering I do have a lot of palettes and I don't want to waste them. So for right now, my current everyday palette is actually the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. I still have the cover on it too, so let me move that. So I have this one as my everyday palette for right now. This palette, honestly, it's really beautiful. Like, for me, when I got this, I actually really loved it. I always keep the plastic cover, and then it has a massive mirror. Like, from here to here is just the mirror. So it's the same size as the palette. The mirror is the same size as the palette. And the palette comes with like mattes, sequin, metallic, and glitter in like the one color, basically. So if you want to do like one look, you could do it like from one column. I believe Tati also said that you could do it in like diagonals if you would like. But again, like, as of right now, this is my current everyday palette. So this palette is honestly very good quality. I have found no issues using this palette. The mattes are very vibrant, pigmented. You can build them up as much as you would like. The sequins are very nice. They have this small amount of glitter in them to give it a more shimmer if you would like to create this dimension rather than using the mattes. The metallic are very shiny, very buttery smooth, and then the glitters, I love the glitters because again, it's self-adhesive, so I don't have to fiddle with like glitter glue and then like try to like put it on my eye, put the glitter, like tap the glitter out, and then like, okay, let me put it in my eye, put it in my eye. It's like no hassle, and the glitter stays on. Like once you set it and like let it, set it, you forget it. Like that's it. And it doesn't have much fallout. But ooh, the glitters, she said, are not intended for eye, near the immediate eye area. So just a safety, I want to make sure that you guys are safe. You don't have to use this on the immediate eye area if you don't want to. So finally we reach our most colorful palette in the whole bunch. And so, interestingly enough, actually, this one, BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil, which ranges from $14 to $20. This was a gift from my best friend, actually. She knows how much I love makeup and how much I love creativity. And whenever I do creative looks, she knows to get me like the very colorful palettes. This one, sorry, plastic. This one comes in a rainbow of colors, from pink to red to yellow, orange, green, blue, dark blue, slash indigo, and then purple. And then of course it also comes with black, white, and like this greener white. And it's really, really nice. I've actually used this palette specifically for like Halloween, whenever I do makeup for my Halloween costume. And I would suggest putting a primer base or like a concealer or MAC paint pot underneath so that it's more pigmented and more like such a solid color. Okay, and of course, like I have more. My next one is also a gift from my best friend. She knows me too well. This one is the Urban Decay Full Spectrum. She actually got this for me when it first came out, like Christmas time, 2016, I think. It retails for $55, and it's cruelty-free, but not 100% because of the carmine. It's very pigmented. Mine is very old because, again, 2016, it's already 2020. So I would need to use like both an eyeshadow primer, and sometimes I'd also have to make sure I spray my eye area immediately after I do my eye look with setting spray, so my eye makeup look doesn't crumble. It does come with a eyeshadow. Sorry. How would I show? Oh, like this. So it does come with like an eyeshadow brush, which I've already used. It comes with a full-size mirror here at the bottom. And it comes with colors ranging from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and gray tones. And then my last colorful palette, I believe, is my Morphe 3B, which has been replaced in the US with the James Charles palette, if I remember correctly. You can still buy the Morphe 3B in like Europe, in Asia, if I remember correctly, but not in the US or not in the US or Canada anymore. This was around $15 to $20. It's cruelty-free, but not 100% vegan because of the carmine. Pigmented. It's a good palette if you're starting out as a makeup artist, because it's high variety with low cost. And then I keep the plastic because I like keeping the plastic to take care of my palettes. So here it is. It ranges in color from white to neutrals, yellow, orange, pinks, reds, more pinks, purples, greens, green, purples, brown, black, and then blues. And I actually, interestingly enough, whenever I do like a colorful lip and I want to make like a gradient, I use this palette more so than an eyeshadow palette. It's okay, no rules in makeup, and I'm the only one who usually uses it on myself anyway. So next is going to be my smallest palette, and I already actually showed it to you guys. I previewed it a little too early. It's actually my Wet n Wild Coloricon eyeshadow quad, And it apparently comes typically in $3. So these small ones, just quads. So there's 4 eyeshadows in them. I got it for $1 because I typically buy my drugstore makeup when it's on sale. And I'm letting you guys know again, drugstore stuff goes on sale. It's already cheap, but get it even cheaper is a good deal. You know what I'm saying? Cruelty-free, not 100% vegan because of the carmine, but it is good quality for the amount that you pay for, which is, I paid for $1 and I've used this a lot. And it actually also shows you, like if you're new, it shows you like how to use it as well. It shows you like where to use what for the brow bone, eyelid, crease color, outer eyelid. So it's really nice. It teaches you too if you are somebody new or you kind of don't want to think about your eye look for that day and you're just like, oh, I'll just use this. It doesn't come with a mirror, doesn't come with a brush. But you would need to use a good eyeshadow primer if you do want it to last for the whole day. And let me see, if I remember correctly, like Hooked on Vinyl, this is the one I used for Universal Studios when I did a Harry Potter themed eye look. I should have taken photos that day. But typically for my everyday, I do use, like, at one point, my everyday was actually one of these. And I was using Walking on Eggshells. And I actually would mix it up. So sometimes I would use the number 2 rather than all over my eyelid. Sometimes I just use this under on my lash line. And then I'd use the transition, which is number 1, or number 4, all over my eyelid. And then this one I'd use on the inner corner. Like again, like you don't have to follow like the look on the back of the palette. You can honestly use it as you will, because once you purchase it, it's yours. Makeup, again, it's just, a tool for expression, for creativity, and it hopefully is something that makes you feel good, So yeah, these are like super cheap, good quality, and if you're starting out and you honestly have like no clue like how to do your eye look, like these are really good. I've gotten them for $1, so get them when they're on sale if ever you are close to CVS or Walgreens or Walmart. Okay, so since I already showed you my smallest palette, I'll show you my largest palette. And my largest palette is actually the Morphe 3A, or the Dare to Create palette. This one's very big. It doesn't come with a mirror, it doesn't come with a brush, but I keep my plastics. But you are given this middle row, which is full of transition colors, and you can use them for contouring, you could use them for your eyes, you could use them for like bronzer if you would like to. You could also use them for contouring your nose, your face, your jawline. I've seen people use this to contour their body specifically. I'm not that talented. I focus more on the face. The colors range from like warm brown neutrals to colorful reds to cool tone blues to more browns, but these are more cooler tone browns, to green, one gold color and one black color. So my palette with the best memory, that palette is actually my Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, which is the original. So this originally retails for $39. Unfortunately, the original can no longer be bought anywhere. Morphe reformulated the Jaclyn Hill palette, and so whatever's in store right now, it's no longer the same formula as the original. I'll link it down below. This is one of the more known reformulations that unfortunately wasn't a really good reformulation either. Originally cruelty-free and vegan, but with the reformulation, it's no longer vegan. I believe Luvs Reviews did a very in-depth review on the original and the reformulated one. And okay, but back to the best memory. So the reason why this is one of the palettes that I have the best memories with is because this is the palette that I've used the most when I create makeup looks on my best friend. Makeup is like a creative outlet for me, and she loves going out. So she's always trying to get ready, and it was a win-win scenario because I was like, okay, let me do your makeup, and she's like, okay, now I'm ready to go party. So I've honestly, like, I've used this so much on a lot of her party looks, a lot of her, birthdays, a lot of our other friends' birthdays. Whenever we go to Disneyland, I believe this is the palette I'd use on her. But yeah, so this is the palette that I've used the most when it comes to like my best friend and myself. Okay, so my palettes that were worth the hype. And for that one would actually be most of my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes, actually. Let me grab them. So I have most of them, not all of them. I have the Modern Renaissance. I have Subculture, which I know people have mixed opinions on. I also have Soft Glam. I have Norvina, which I was using recently. And then Jaclyn palette, which I was also using recently, and I've already shown earlier. These ones, these 5 palettes, honestly are worth the hype. Anastasia Beverly Hills, in terms of their formulation, is typically very good. I know that there's mixed feelings about Subculture. Let me get into that more later. So these palettes are cruelty-free, but they're not 100% vegan, mainly because of not just carmine, but they also use beeswax in their formulations. The Modern Renaissance, okay, let me go in order, I guess, to explain further. So, Modern Renaissance. Modern Renaissance is a warm tone palette. It's an interesting mix of warm, light to medium neutral tones with pigmented fuchsias and oranges. And I did compare this earlier with the Wet n Wild one for anyone who is interested in maybe getting a dupe of it. But yeah, it comes with a mirror and it comes with a brush, the brush I've taken. And then next would be the Subculture, which I know the internet has mixed feelings on this. I've heard many people say it's terrible, like it's too dusty, it's hard to work with, and I get that, don't worry. But I've also heard from my own friends, and I've also heard from my own friends too, that there are some that really do like it, and typically the ones that really do like it are of a darker complexion than I am, because the colors pop out more for them. It's a more grungy palette, I believe, but yes, it was controversial because of the high amount of fallout, and there were some pigments that kind of became dirty when blended. Oh, let me explain. So if I remember correctly, the one with the most fallout, I believe, was either Fudge or New Wave. And then New Wave was the one that became dirty when it was blended, as well as Destiny. Like for me, like these two, you can't blend them, mainly because they get ashy, they get dark for some reason. Like, I don't know why, but the more you blend it, the more brown it looks, like for both these two colors. The glitters though, bomb.com. Like Electric is a beautiful duochrome from green to brown. Adorn is a beautiful brown shimmer glitter. And then Cube is also another duochrome. It's pink to white, if I remember correctly. But of course, I understand, like, this palette specifically is hard to work with. And so I actually just got mine when I saw that it was on sale at either TJ Maxx or Marshalls. Like, that's where I got mine. Like, I understand your concerns. So I wouldn't get the, if you have those concerns, like, just get it on sale or don't get it at all. I'm not pushing anything here. But yeah. Okay, the next one would be the Soft Glam. And this one is a warm tone palette. It's an interesting mix of both like warm tones, like neutral warm tones, from light to dark. And then it also features some really good golds and rose golds in the palette. So all of these 5 Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes comes with a mirror and a brush. So this is what the brush typically looks like. Oops. This is what the brush typically looks like. It's covered in plastic and it's a dual-ended brush. One's a fluffy side and one's a more tapered, smooth side for packing. I believe this is for packing, this is for blending. Yeah. And you can see there's a lot of gold glitters here, rose gold glitters, gold glitter. You have your highlighting shade, your warm neutrals from light all the way to dark. And of course there's a red color. There's also a black shade in here. And yeah, the black shade in here though, you would need a base. You'd need an eyeshadow base for this. I've tried using it as like eyeliner and it kind of blurs out unless you have a base. So, letting you know. And next I have my Norvina palette. This one is another warm tone palette. It's an interesting mix of warm light to medium neutral tones with half the palette as shimmers. And let me show you. So again, it comes with a mirror and a brush, and you have your light white shade or very light neutral shade. There's a purple shimmery matte shade here. There's your transition if you are like light to tan skin like I am. Pink shade, a more darker, grayer transition shade if you're light to mid tan skin. There's this orange shade right here. There's a red brown color, and then the other half is just glitters. So a champagne glitter, gold glitter, pink glitter, rose gold glitter, purple glitter, gold glitter, and then another darker purple glitter. And then finally, of course, I have Miss Jaclyn's collaboration with Anastasia Beverly Hills. This beautiful piece of creation, which I've already spoken about when I started this whole video, but it's also really good. It's very good. It comes with these two you can do as eye highlight or a face highlight. There's also beautiful glitters in this, the Wigglies, which is a red, like a vibrant red. Shockington is a nice purple. Trust Issues is this like white shimmery shade. Oh, it's a glitter, sorry, glitter. Dwallas is this beautiful gold glitter. Sponsored is this duochrome shade. Lituation is this beautiful purplish brown. And then of course you have your transitions and your pink and purples in matte. So, just as there are palettes that are worth the hype, unfortunately there were palettes that were not worth the hype. So let me get into that. I guess palette specifically would be the After series from Bad Habit. Bad Habit used to be a really Instagram famous brand for makeup. They would do a lot of dupes for higher end makeups. They would create like they would basically try to like copy the higher end dupes, but of course put a twist to it, like change the name, change the layout, or change the design of the packaging of the eyeshadow palette. And initially, like, they were good. They were low budget, but very good quality. You bought products either from their website or their app, which I believe the app was like Shop Hush. And however, after some time, the brand began raising the price of their eyeshadow palettes, but there wasn't really a noticeable difference in quality for the eyeshadows themselves. The brand now is no longer selling any products. They're no longer selling any merchandise through their website or app. And I believe it was no longer accessible like after March 2019. I was initially interested in like the brand itself because it was duping a lot of high-end makeup. Like, it was duping a lot of high-end expensive makeup. And as a college student, I didn't got that monies. So, what was it? I believe they were like duping Natasha Denona, which is $3 signs if it was a Yelp review. Pat McGrath, $4 signs if it was a Yelp review. And they were, you know, like, they were priced like around $20 instead of the $3 or $4 signs. So I had the After series from Shop Hush or Bad Habit, which is their in-house makeup brand. One of a 9-pan palette would be $12, and I think the 4 of them was $30. It was like a deal or something. So let me show you. Aftershock, as the packaging would suggest, is very colorful. It has a small mirror inside, and it has 3 shimmer shades, and the rest are matte shades. These colors specifically, I remember you'd have to build up and you'd need an eye primer, which I was fine with when it was a low price. But then they started raising the price, and I was like, whoa, back up. Did you change anything in your formula? I don't see any changes. Why the price raise? This one's After Dark, which is a more red tone. So there's like this pink, neutral, warm neutrals, red, orange, a cream, and then there's a gold in the middle. There's also, After Hours is another one, but this one is more flat out red and pink compared to After Dark, which was more in the orange category. So this one's After Dark, this one's After Hours. So After Hours was more red and pink, After Dark was more like a sunset, so orange and red. So this one had more pinks, like I think 3 shimmery rose gold colors, and then red, pink, of course your neutrals, and then a cream. And then After Party is your more just warm tone browns with some shimmer shades. So you have browns, you have a silver shimmer, a rose gold shimmer, a gold, a brown shimmer, and then your matte shades, black, brown, and orange. And yeah, like this brand itself, it could have been good, it could have been great. However, when they raised the price and their products weren't really changing in formula, there wasn't really anything changing in terms of the palettes themselves, it was kind of like, I'm not interested anymore. Like, it was starting to get up there, and I was like, no thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. Okay, so my favorite palette from my favorite brand. as of right now, my favorite brand is honestly Colourpop. And I mean, Colourpop's a really good brand. They have so many good quality products for low price. And it's cruelty free, mostly vegan. They do list out which are non-vegan in their site. I honestly really love the make your own palette. I like that I could create my own palette as I wanted it. The small palette, which is like 12 shadows, and 2 cheeks for shadows is, I believe, $24. This one was $45. This is the large palette, which has 24 shadows or 6 cheeks or combination. A single pressed eyeshadow would be like $4.50. A single Super Shock shadow, the ones in the screw caps, would be $6. The Jelly Much, which is like the jelly eyeshadow, would be $8. And they carry different types of eyeshadows. They have pressed, they have Super Shock, they have jelly. They also have different finishes, which is like the matte, the shimmer, the glitter, the metallic, the satin. And the brand goes on sale really regularly. 2019, they were releasing like one release after another too, and I was like, whoa, damn, okay, like they're out here. But yeah, like honestly, favorite palette from favorite brand, Colourpop. So of course, since I do have a lot of palettes, what are my most used palettes? And to answer your question, in terms of like just in general, would be the NYX Ultimate Edit in terms of drugstore, my Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1 for indie brand, and then Jaclyn Hill palette for, I guess, high-end? Would it be considered high-end? High-end indie brand. And yeah, I've already explained these palettes to you guys before, but yeah, out of all of my palettes, these 3 are the ones I've used the most, especially in terms of eye looks. And so, I'm not done. I have actually a couple more to show with you guys and share with you guys. So these are just the other palettes in my collection. They're not most this, they're not super that, but they are part of my collection, and I do care for them. One of them is the Tartlet 1. This one is an all matte. This is an all matte palette, and there's no shimmers in this. I believe it's made with Amazonian clay. This one though would need eyeshadow primer to be more pigmented, to appear more pigmented and stay longer on your eyes. Of course, this is old. Like I've had this, not as old as Tartlet in Bloom, but close to it. So yeah. Another one would be my Tartlet Toasted palette, and this one smells like marshmallows or vanilla. This one's relatively new compared to the 2 other Tartlet palettes. It's warm tones for sure. It comes with 4 shimmers, 1 matte with embedded glitter, and then 7 mattes. For this one, I don't really need an eye primer, but this is the newest one out of all of them. And yeah, this is like it's a good palette. It's not my mostly used, but it is a good warm tone palette. Another one would be my Tarte Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust, which is actually a gift from my best friend. My best friend knows me too well. So this used to be an everyday palette for me. It comes with a mirror, and of course the rest, and the eyeshadows themselves, like a flower. The colors are, there's 5 shimmers right here, and then 6 of them are matte, and they smell like vanilla. What else? But yeah, this used to be an everyday palette. Another palette I do have is the Bretman Rock palettes in collaboration with Colourpop. This one is Wet and this one is Lit. Wet is more of a blue tone, cool tone palette. It doesn't come with a mirror, it doesn't come with a brush, but it's a fairly nice eyeshadow palette. It features like a lot of cool tones and then of course your transition shades. For Wet, and then of course I have Lit, which is the more warm tone of the two. It doesn't come with a brush, no mirror, but it is of course warm tone. So it has this champagne shimmer, red shimmer, and then this pink rose gold shimmer, and then of course mattes. I really like how Bretman actually named one of the shades after his niece, Cleo Amore, which is actually like the daughter of his sister. So I think that was cool. And then I think Mercy was his mom. So that's really nice, you know? I also have a couple more palettes from Morphe. I have the Morphe Fall Into Frost. This one is a gift from my friends. They are amazing. My friends are super cool. They got this for me for my birthday, and this one's actually really good. It features, I keep the plastic as usual. It features 4 rows of shimmers and then 1 row of transition shades or warm neutrals. So you're honestly able to create any like everyday look you'd want or glamorous look you'd want. I didn't really need to use any primers with this. I honestly just needed like a concealer on my eyes, and then I set it with translucent powder, and that was it. And then I just placed any of the colors from this palette onto my eyes. It used to be an everyday palette for me as well. But yeah, I'm very thankful for my friends. They really know what makeup items, products to give me. And then I also have the Morphe 350S. I believe there was like a 350M. 350M means matte, S means shimmer, and then there was just the regular 350, and then there was the 352, which was like the second version of it, I think. But I got the shimmer version, and I honestly really like it. It's basically just a shimmery version of the matte of this. And I just like shimmers because, I don't know, I like the shimmer finish. But yeah, this one also used to be an everyday palette. But yeah. Okay, so thank you again so much, guys, for being a part of this sharing process. By no means do you need to have the same number of eyeshadows in my collection to gain more experience. I honestly bought these shadows with my own money because I like them, and they are like helpful for me, or I'm supporting like a certain influencer, or I just like the color story, or it was a good deal. So again, you don't need so many eyeshadow palettes. Just get whatever you need. But then again, do I really need all of these? It's okay. These are part of my collection. But yeah, thank you again so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you guys have a super awesome day, and yeah, peace.